Welcome back now to the midterm election and the culture wars. In some critical battlegrounds, a vote on gay marriage could help turn the battle for Congress one way or another. Our congressional correspondent Dana Bash has more on this issue and how it's playing in Indiana. Dana?
Well, Wolf, in 2004, the same-sex marriage ban was on the ballot in 11 states. President Bush campaigned hard on the issue, and he lost just 2 of the states where this issue was on the ballot. Now, Republicans are trying hard to use this issue again to rally the frustrated faithful. Re-elect him, and Republican John Hostettler says he'll protect Indiana voters from threats to their values, what he calls a homosexual agenda. What's the homosexual agenda?
Well, the homosexual agenda is expanding, for example, so-called expanding discrimination to another area of, in my opinion, chosen behavior.
His radio ad is less subtle.
Speaker Pelosi will then put in motion her radical plan to advance the homosexual agenda, led by Barney Frank, reprimanded by the House after paying for sex with a man who ran a gay brothel out of Congressman Frank's home.
Hostettler is trying to lure conservatives by warning a vote for the Democrat is a vote for same-sex marriage, something his Democratic opponent calls a scare tactic because they agree on the issue.
I'm opposed to gay marriage. I think marriage is between a man and a woman.
Hostettler hopes a state ban on same-sex marriage will be on Indiana's ballot in 2008, but it already is on this Tuesday's ballot in 8 states. 2, Virginia and Tennessee, have hotly contested Senate races where GOP candidates are jumping on the issue. In Tennessee, Republican Bob Corker is accusing Democrat Harold Ford of supporting same-sex marriage, forcing Ford to run this ad.
I'm Harold Ford Jr., and now they've attacked my faith. Said I'm for gay marriage when I voted against it.
In Virginia, GOP Senator George Allen will vote for the state ban.
And I believe that marriage should be between one man and one woman.
Democrat Jim Webb opposes same-sex marriage too, but calls the ballot initiative too restrictive. Republican activists hope that will energize a frustrated GOP base.
I think it's been negative enough that people might be discouraged from voting, but I think they see here a clear opportunity for the people of Virginia to define and not redefine marriage.
Back in Indiana, a conservative state where supporters of gay marriage are hard to find, Mark St. John quietly works against a ban. It's easy this year, he says, because voters are focused on other issues.
They're really more concerned about their neighbors that are going to war and coming back in coffins. They're more worried about what's the economy going to like, their job future here.
Congressman Hostettler is worried about his job. Behind in the polls, he says convincing so-called values voters to vote Republican is how to win. Now, there are some conservatives who think that Republican leaders in Washington are disingenuous about this issue. President Bush, as I mentioned, campaigned hard on it in 2004, but was virtually silent about it until this past summer when the Senate took up the issue in a pre-election vote. But, Wolf, if this issue does rally enough conservatives in tight places like here in Indiana, that's all that could make the difference potentially in these very tight races, Wolf.
And people will closely be watching if this issue has a big impact on the races, as you point out, in Tennessee and Virginia, especially very close Senate races in those 2 states. Dana, thanks very much. Dana Bash reporting.
It is obviously important to all of us that homosexual marriage does not become the law of the land. Let me tell you that for every logical argument we can bring to show that it's a very bad idea, the other side, spreading the stain of secular socialism, will bring 3 better arguments that it's a very good idea, and then it's simply our argument against theirs.
It turns out that you have to go into rehab if you use the word faggot. So